So you talk about never saving any money and just turning every dollar you make into another experience. And this isn't a financial podcast, but what let's talk about your investment strategy. Let's hear about your portfolio in the early 2000s. This is Climbing Gold. How did you make professional climbing work? You're in your truck, you do a little route setting, you win a competition every once in a while, you buy a plane ticket. Like, I mean, like lay
Yeah.
that out a little bit for people who are interested in like the dirtbag lifestyle, but don't totally get what that means.
Well, yeah, so 30 years ago, 25 years ago, finances were a little different. But like I was making like $14,000 a year as like a 20-year-old, you know, and then I would just go into debt all winter long until basically I ran out of credit card space. And then I would come home and immediately start working, whether it was like construction job. I mean, the construction jobs paid better than the climbing gym at some point. So I went to that and we built like, I did a bunch of framing and trimming and things like trimming doors and windows and things like that because it paid a little bit better. And then I would, crash at my parents' house and just save as much money as I could. And I just repeated this like vicious cycle of saving as much as I could, working 6 months, and then traveling for 6 months and climbing, and then doing it again. And I mean, the first 2, 3 months would always be getting out of debt, and then saving a little bit, and then getting back into debt. And I think I did that cycle for probably about 5 years, or something like that. Yeah, and then probably the biggest breakthrough I had with climbing was when I discovered what a line of credit was from the bank. And I write about it in the book, how the cashier basically talked me into signing up for a line of credit. And I was like, what the heck? I qualify? Like, how does that possible? They were basically just giving away free money.
This
And
is
well,
this is what predicated the entire financial collapse of like 2008. And like, when you start loaning money to people who were never going to be able to repay it. But go on.
and yeah, to touch on your disclaimer there, this is not financial advice to anybody, but I basically maxed out that line of credit. I lived on the road. I just climbed for like 14, 15, 16 months. I just used the line of credit to survive. And I would, I would borrow from it to make each monthly payment, which was escalating every month. It was terrible, terrible advice, but it worked for me because I just wanted to climb without doing the cycle, without stopping to work. I just wanted to go on a year where I just could focus on climbing. And by the end of that year, I think I was, pretty much I had like 3 or 4 sponsors because it kind of worked. And
And
yeah,
so
and
were
so
you able to pay off your line of credit, or are you
well,
still do you
no,
still
that's
owe?
I no, still working on it, chipping away. No, I did manage to pay it off. I think I was like 29 or something when I finally paid it off, um, but it worked for me. And like I said, it was scary, but I also had friends in college and university who had spent 10, 20, 30, $40,000 on education, and they didn't like what they were doing. They didn't even like the field they were in, and they weren't working in the field, or they had quit and they had all this student debt. And I was like, that sounds way worse than what I'm doing, which is, taking this line of credit to go and literally fulfill my dreams. And so it didn't really scare me at the time because I was like, I can let my future self worry about all my mistakes,